That's how we do.
And we look to see which language it is.
Oh, it went right to English.
All right.
Weird.
I don't know what determines that, but okay. Hello and welcome to episode 537 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, February 21st, 2017. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from the Great White North, Mr. Greg Seward. Hello.
Good evening.
Your little horse.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. Hockey tournament this weekend. I may have gotten a little bit excited.
Sound like a Sega Genesis sound chip.
Thanks.
Sports Talk, Greg.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
High technology, my friends.
That's right. And joining me this week from the great state of California, Mr. Ethan Einhorn. Hello.
Hey there. Is it March 3rd yet?
It is not.
It's not? All right. I'm going to go back to hibernating. Sorry, guys.
A little over a week and a half now.
Oh, man, it's too long. Way too long.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
Okay.
It really will.
If you say so.
And then you'll be like, when's Scorpio coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, won't be saying that. But all right. I'll try to wait. All
righty. And joining us this week from Back in My Play and the Fitcast Network, Mr. Kevin Larrabee.
Good evening, guys. It's good to see you.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. It's always
we
great.
Just did an episode on Link's Awakening with you last week.
Yeah, we woke the windfish.
We sure did.
And we got some instant. That was some of the quickest audience feedback I ever got of, and it was fantastically written, very polite, but lots of. You guys are crazy for not absolutely gushing about that game. That part of the experience is needing to go to every single square and getting to know the land.
Really?
Like
that's part of the experience.
Well, it's the Zelda 2 excuse of, it's like it's
no.
You just don't understand the game, man.
Don't even loop this in with Zelda 2.
Yeah.
But it's all good. I think there was I to be honest, I think our discussion was overall really positive, and it is still quite a triumph and a technical feat on the Game Boy hardware, and it is absolutely still worth going and checking out on your 3DS via Virtual Console or on your Super Game Boy today.
Certainly. I think I've seen two outlets do their top 20 Zelda games recently. Kotaku had a list, and then Game Informer just did a list quite recently. They placed Link's Awakening higher than I would have, but
and they place Game Informer placed Skyward Sword way lower than they should have, and Twilight Princess much higher than they should have.
What? How many Zelda games have there been? Like top 20? Doesn't that cover?
It's close to 20. It's. I think it's over 15 anyway.
Okay.
And that's not even counting the weird Philips CDI games. So there have been quite a few Zelda games and games within the Zelda universe, like the Warriors games. Like, don't forget Tingle, guys.
Oh man, Tingle makes me tingle.
Do you think Tingle will be in Breath of the Wild?
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I need to feel again.
In fact, I'll tell you, I would love it if he just flat out replaces Navi, so that he's with you the entire time. I would love it.
We'll see.
I'm not so sure about that, but you know what? Maybe he'll show up in the DLC for Breath of the Wild, which just got announced last week. Nintendo is doing an expansion pass for The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. It will cost you
a season pass. It's a season pass.
It'll cost you $20, and you get some things at launch. You get 3 treasure chests in the Great Plateau with useful items, and more importantly, Link can now wear a shirt that has the Nintendo Switch logo on it.
In-game advertising.
Wow. That's awesome. You should have led with that.
I dare you to spend any of this.
That's the most important piece.
Is it a muscle tee?
I hope it's a muscle tee. Yes. And then the expansion pass includes 2 other DLC packs. The first one comes in the summer, and adds a new Cave Trials challenge, a new hard mode, and an additional map feature. In quotes, who knows?
I wonder
what
if
that is.
I really hope that's not just a like a full treasure map.
Yeah, what could they add?
It's almost like the messaging was really terrible when they just had a 90-second video saying, "Hey, we're gonna ask for $20 a little bit after release, and we're just not gonna really tell you what it is right now. We're gonna let the internet just yell at each other and speculate
Well, that's
about what this is."
thing.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the problem is, give Call of Duty all the crap that you want. Okay, you guys are going to get 4 new multiplayer maps. You're going to be getting a couple new perks. Maybe you could get some new guns. Like they outline what you're going to get. And this is, what we've seen with Nintendo in the past. Like this is their first time dipping their toe into this water, right? For the most part.
Oh
so,
no,
Not the first
Splatoon
time they
had this stuff.
No, for a for a single player campaign, this is their first time.
No,
Yeah, maybe.
no, they did Fire Emblem DLC for the last 2 games, Awakening
Okay.
and
All right.
Fates.
No, it's not
as
new for
well.
them. It's new for Zelda.
New for Zelda, that's a better
But
one.
I mean,
New
it's
for
not
Zelda
new
if
for
you don't-
Nintendo.
If you don't count Hyrule Warriors, which had plenty of DLC.
That's not a
Yeah,
Zelda game.
that's a little different. But
All right.
but I mean, no, this is not new for Nintendo. Actually, I think it's interesting because they've, if you really think about it, Nintendo has sort of dabbled in every different type of monetization over the past couple of years. Like they've done the microtransactions, they're doing the season pass, they're doing the mission pack downloads.
Well, they did a season pass for Mario Kart 8.
Did they do a season pass?
And that's
for that?
what I was about to say.
Okay.
That season pass was great too.
Yeah.
Lots of terrific content, great value for the dollar. The Fire Emblem DLC has been fantastic. I'm absolutely confident that it's going to be worthwhile, and I'm more than happy to spend the money to get it.
Okay. This is okay. We cannot do this. We cannot. This is the problem that I have is that we cannot have a discussion where if Nintendo announces something, we cannot just automatically say, I trust Nintendo to do it right. Because again, they were incredibly vague, like new map features. What the hell is that? A new.
Well, what if
Kevin,
announcing what the map feature is would spoil something in the game?
It's not just that, but it's also the fact that they have consistently delivered above and beyond anyone else. Think about it in comparison to when Arkham Knight had a $40 pack and they didn't disclose anything other than stuff's coming. And you had to kind of be okay with that, and it wasn't nearly as good.
This is slightly better than saying stuff's coming, but it's still it's not exactly what I would have preferred, which is show us some stills of what some of this stuff is, because the Holiday 2017 pack, which is DLC Pack 2, comes with a new original story, a new dungeon, and additional challenges.
But again, those have no. There's no real description of what that is, because it could be a 30-minute like side thing. It could be like a very small dungeon.
You got to accept that risk either way. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not thinking about. No, I'm just saying. I don't like the idea of season passes in the first place.
Well, what I was gonna like my point with this whole, not necessarily a rant, but is. Okay, what I'm saying is you don't need to buy this stuff sight unseen. Don't have to buy this stuff day one. Wait on all this stuff. The people that complain about buying the Arkham Knight DLC sight unseen, that's kind of on you. When you spend $40 and you just have faith in a developer and mostly the publisher in that case, that's on you. You guys don't need to just give them free money without seeing what that content is. Wait a little bit.
But if you don't buy it when you start the game, then the 3 treasure chests that you get that contain useful items are going to be a lot less useful.
Oh shit! Like that's going to ruin the game for me.
That Switch shirt, I need that at launch. Come on.
I know I need to advertise. I mean, I wish they at least had like a partnership with like a ramen company.
I think that actually, I do want to say though that I think that's interesting, because I don't know that that's something that Nintendo's done before, where you've got a major single player campaign and you buy a season pass, and they're actually incentivizing it via free treasures at the beginning of the quest. And the shirt's stupid, but like that is something new for them, and it's a little bit not crazy about that really. I mean, it is, it's clear what that's meant to do, which is to sell the season pass so that, like Kevin says, people are incentivized to buy this DLC sight unseen.
Well, and the reason they announced it when they did is because they want the majority of players who are starting the game on March 3rd to know that this is available and potentially buy it. If they
and
waited,
not trade the game in.
And not trade the game in, yeah. If they waited until the summer to announce what is in this, then they would have lost like half the player base.
Okay, so it was a poor job on their part with the announcement. It would maybe be what the final thing that I would say. And also, again, when you charge they're charging for hero mode, something that has been a standard feature in the last couple of
this says
games.
This says new hard mode. It does not say hero mode.
Okay, so I'm making a little bit of a leap, but it
doesn't mean that hero mode is not in the game. It means that they're doing an additional, whether it's hero mode or not, we don't know. Okay. They're doing an additional hard mode.
Okay, do you guys like paying for extra difficulty?
No, because I would never play hero mode in the first place, so I'm not going to play this one.
So, and here's my take on it. I have repeatedly now bought copies of games on both PlayStation 4 and Vita, from God Eater 2 to Final Fantasy to recently Odin Sphere, specifically so that I could do the cross save and I could have the convenience of playing on my TV or on the go. That to me is and has been consistently worth $100. To me, it is worth it. So I get that just $60 out of the gate. $20 is still $20. $20 for this DLC is still ultimately $20 cheaper than the $100 I'm willing to spend just for that function.
Wait.
What are you talking about?
Wait. One of the problems
crazy,
with this,
dude. I'm sorry, but that's
one of the big problems with this pack is that, or the expansion pass, is that when Nintendo announced back in January that they were doing multiple versions of Breath of the Wild, they were doing a special edition and a master edition at $100 and $130. They could have said something about this, because the expansion pass is not included.
Yeah, that's
in
bullshit.
Those extra additions, which I think is kind of lame.
Yeah, it's not the right way to do it.
Yeah. Well, they have said that they are not going to offer these separately. You do have to spend the $20 if you want.
On the flip side, I mean, we don't know how much the content's going to be. $20 might be a steal.
It might be. Yeah, I am most interested in the new original story, new dungeon, and additional challenges.
Absolutely.
The Cave of Trials thing, the hard mode, the additional map feature, I really could care less about.
Yeah.
And the 3 new treasure chests, that's probably the reason that I'm going to spend the $20 right away.
You are doing this then?
I'll do this, yes.
And Ethan, I assume you're doing this?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I want to add one other thing. At a time in which a lot of companies, including Nintendo, are continuing to try to get people to spend more money through gambling mechanics or through consumables. This is awesome by comparison. Let's be honest.
Yeah, okay, it's relatively awesome, but I mean, I don't know. You're saying that at least this shitty thing they're doing isn't as shitty as things other people are doing. That doesn't make it good.
I don't know. I mean, it's additional content for a game that if I end up loving the game, I mean, if I pick up the game and it's not very good, then of course I'm not going to end up.
But at that point, haven't you already spent the money on the season pass?
No. I'm not going to buy the season pass until I've actually started playing the game.
Okay. Well, that's because you said you were going to do it, so I just assumed. You were going to do it.
Well, my PSA for like the audience, for anyone that buys games today, is just don't buy this stuff sight unseen. Wait until you get a really good idea, like a couple treasure chests. Like, what are they going to give you? A couple pieces of armor, something like that. That will
50 rupees.
Yeah, it'll be 50 rupees after you already have 999 and you can't carry anymore. Like, make sure that this is going to be a worthwhile investment for you, and just be patient. You don't need to get we are all extremely excited about the Nintendo Switch. We all want to give Nintendo money. We all want to buy a new console and some new games. I'm right there with you, but I would just say be patient. Don't just jump right on it, because you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Well, so I think that Kevin is a voice of reason, and I can get behind what he's saying. But I think that historically, based on Mario Kart and Fire Emblem, we've seen that Nintendo has been consistently very good and better than just about anyone else, in fact, in delivering really high quality, worthwhile DLC. So I think that more likely than not, we're going to get something that's very worthwhile. But if you're not absolutely sure and you want to be sure, makes sense to wait.
That is why I am inclined to make the purchase even before playing very much of Breath of the Wild. I mean, I've already played some of it at E3, so I know what to expect. I've watched plenty of footage. I know I'm going to like this game, so I have no problem with it.
I have no problem with it either. I don't think anyone has a problem with the idea of it here, right?
Well, I think
I do.
people,
I've never been a fan of the season pass.
I think some people do, like especially if you skipped Wii U and you haven't been a Nintendo gamer in a while, you may not know that Nintendo has done DLC already, and as we mentioned, that a lot of it has been of decent quality and worth it. So I definitely saw complaining on the internet about the fact that they're doing DLC at all.
Well, let's wait and see how they do it. And if it's one case, if it is like stuff that's on the card in that you download an unlock code and it's stuff that was already done,
It's not. It's not going to be that. I don't think.
That's what I know. That's what I'm saying. So like that would be one reason to complain. But if they're putting extra work in after the development is done, and this game's probably going to be like 60 hours, even if you're kind of running through it, 40 hours minimum, you're going to get your money's worth. It's not going to be that.
Yeah, that to me is the big thing. Is that I've seen the biggest complaint and worry that I've seen from a lot of people online is that, oh, does this mean they're selling us an incomplete game? Yeah, you could technically make that argument, I guess. But there's where I'll say no. It's Nintendo. You're gonna get a ton of game. It's a Zelda game. You're gonna get a lot of game for your $60.
Well, I think a point that Ethan made earlier is true, not just for Nintendo, but a lot of publishers who do season passes and extended DLC. It's trying to make you keep the game and not sell it back.
I mean, it's the same thing. I've had this conversation with people over the Forza games previously as well, because I mean they've got tons of DLC in those games, and they've got a season pass, and they've got the way they package their DLC cars is not the greatest, because there's certain cars that you have to buy full packs for. I don't think that it's too much, because I do like that you can extend it. But the thing is that speaking as a huge fan of that series, I don't think I've spent more than an extra $10 over the last 5 games for anything I wanted, and I still got a huge, robust experience in every single one of them. So it doesn't bother me in those situations. If it was an incomplete game, like you think of Asura, what was it, Asura's Wrath? Or
yes,
there were chapters missing in that game. That was the wrong way to do it.
That they sold you via DLC.
They sold you via DLC. Mm-hmm. Like that was the wrong way to do it. I do believe that Nintendo's going to do this the right way.
I'll say this also, from somebody who is increasingly becoming an archivist, the only other thing is I hope that eventually they come out with a Game of the Year edition or something that pulls all this stuff together on one cart. Because if not, then it's a bit of a bummer that, historically speaking, you play this game 10 years later and that stuff, unless you've held on to your DLC content, is going to be gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that later this year.
Don't want to walk around Hyrule without your Switch t-shirt on.
Darn right. I'm actually not interested at all in that little extra.
Well, that's a good question though too. Is the DLC only available on Switch, or is it also going to be on the Wii U?
Also on the Wii U. Yeah.
And you're getting a Switch shirt on the Wii U version?
Yes. I want you to buy a Switch, Ethan.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I wish that it would have been like some classic outfit from Ocarina of Time or something.
How about just like an 8-bit tunic that's just like a bunch of what was that game? I always forget the name of that game. 8-bit
3D Game Heroes or whatever.
3D Game Heroes?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Great Atlas game.
Yeah, indeed. Well, some of the press started getting some hands-on looks at Switch games last week. We have videos from GameSpot and Giant Bomb playing 1-2 Switch, and those have already proven to be quite gifable on the internet.
I haven't watched those, but I did see the note that 1-2 Switch is like a board game mode.
Yes, it has a board game mode for between 2 and 20 players.
That's interesting.
Yeah, where
that makes me more interested in it, to be honest.
2 teams compete, and it takes about 30 minutes, they say, but in each of these videos, it took like nearly an hour to play through it. And it looked like a lot of fun. It showed off some new games that we hadn't seen before. So speaking of seeing things we hadn't seen before, so on the internet last week, a guy popped up, Hip Hop the Robot on NeoGAF, popped up with a Switch that he was saying that he purchased or got sent early by a retailer. That proved to be wrong.
So where did he get it?
So as it turns out, a distributor, some employees at a distributor stole the Switches, and one of them was resold to this guy, who then tried to resell it via Reddit. Apparently didn't get any buyers. And then he made a video showing off the Switch OS.
I'm sure Nintendo loved that.
I'm sure they did too. Well, it turns out, of course, because it was a stolen good, that Nintendo was able to recover it. Because even if you buy stolen goods, you are compelled to give them back when found. So,
right.
But we did get a look at the OS just a little bit.
Unfortunately, the only thing I really want to see is the actual shop. That's my big question. I want to know what it looks like, what's going to be there day one, and none of that stuff was there because it seems to require a day one update.
Of course, not day one yet.
That's right.
Well, I think maybe the bigger story here is that we are we are 12 days away, and Nintendo still, like the theory that CJ had all the way back when we recorded that Back in My Play in Player One podcast Switch launch stream, was that this was a soft launch. And the more and more that we get closer,
I say it's like a soft launch. I'm not saying that it is a soft launch.
It's actually only being released in Canada, guys.
No, but like really what we are seeing right now is that I think this thing is going to come in super duper hot, and that I bet a lot of the stuff is not going to work really well because, again, we're 12 days away and Nintendo is doing a terrible job with their messaging. Like, you cannot defend how poorly Nintendo is getting the messaging out for this system outside of, well, I don't have cable, but what are they showing ads for, like 1-2 Switch and Zelda? That's it.
So
no,
what
they've got multiple ads that show off Zelda, 1-2 Switch, and ARMS.
Okay.
They may have started the Mario Kart one as well, but they've got a few running.
Okay.
And what are you looking for beyond what they've shown? I mean, I know obviously it would be great, as I just said, to see what's going to be in the digital storefront, but beyond that, there's nothing that leaves me feeling like I have a lack of confidence in what's in the box.
It shows that they have a lack of confidence of what's in the box. It shows that they have a lack of
which part?
Their operating system and the features.
What do you need? What do you need to see out of it?
I guess what I would like to see is how fast it is. If they are going to be able to give us the features that we deserve in 2017, including proper friends lists, properly working networking features, and eShop that makes sense, a virtual console, perhaps, the ability to re-download our purchases from previous consoles would be great, since we've already purchased Super Mario Brothers 14 times. Like, those are the kind of things.
Some of that is in that OS video leak that I talked about. So
it looks pretty zippy.
Check that out.
Really fast.
That's not from Nintendo.
That's not from Nintendo.
Right.
That's
You're right.
Some guy that stole a Switch. So,
you're right. Yeah.
But my point is, like, again, I just don't see how they are benefiting themselves to be super quiet about all this stuff, and just we're gonna have to wait until the press gets their embargoes.
You do
it's Nintendo.
You have one ordered though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna play
Like
Zelda on a plane.
Waiting for those features to be revealed.
I fully plan on. I swear, I fully plan, unless like Nintendo announces some cool shit in the next couple weeks, including Persona 5, is take my Switch, play it on the flight to Japan, play a bunch of Zelda, finish Zelda, put my Switch on Craigslist, and get rid of it.
Sure.
Until like we know that Mario's coming out later this year. Like, I'm not going to hold on to a console, just sit in the closet for
For me, I wouldn't do that because the Splatoon test fire happens in late March.
This is just me personally.
Coming out. You've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You've got ARMS. You've got Splatoon 2 following up after that. Like for me, and this is true with any console launch. I mean, go back PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Wii U, whatever. Like you always have a really bumpy first month. Like the OS, there's always something wrong with it. No matter what platform you buy, there's always like a day one update that takes forever to download.
Sure, but show us what it looks like. Like even at E3 at these events, like months and months and months before this stuff came out, we knew what the Xbox One interface was. We knew what the PS4 interface was. We knew what the 360 and the PS3 interface was. We knew what the Wii and Wii U interface was.
Okay, but Kevin, think about this. We're going to see that this coming week and the week after, presumably, as embargoes are lifted by Nintendo for editorial teams, and that is before the machine launches.
You're talking about something completely different. And you're saying you're acting as like what Kevin's talking about is not something that should be done in the last 5 days before launch.
Why not?
Talking about something that should
I don't
be done
understand
because it's normal to have that happen because Nintendo has done this wrong for so long, and they know that their core players know that. And they're still not talking about friends lists and how that works. They're still not talking about Reggie when they had that press conference about the release and they showed off what the system was. In an interview afterward, Reggie even said we're going to talk about Virtual Console before the launch. Hasn't happened yet. We're 5 business days away.
Yeah,
Kevin's not being unreasonable, but when you're coming back and saying, well, other people are going to do that, but that's not what he's saying. He's saying Nintendo hasn't done it yet, and that's the problem.
All right. Okay. No, I get that. And
but what we can do is we can give it to a select few YouTube influencers, and what they will do is they will walk us through it and they'll show it to us instead of having like a great team. Like again, I think including with the 1-2 Switch videos, like Nintendo has a badass team of people at Nintendo that can do a great job presenting this stuff on live streams.
Sure.
Like they should be lifting up the veil and showing us what this thing is all about. Not like they should have done it at that event. They should have done it the weeks after the event. Like I feel like a lot of the hype has died down because they haven't done any of that until the Switch 1-2 Switch game streams came out a couple days ago.
Well, so then I guess what I go to is it a compelling enough message that you're going to get Zelda untethered from your TV? For me, that's a massively exciting.
I don't give a shit about me. I give a shit about like Nintendo actually like selling these to more than the 4 people on this stream.
Well, here's the thing. I agree that yes, Nintendo should be showing this stuff off. Personally, I don't care. Like
that's fair.
If they announce a video, if they host a video showing that stuff off, I will watch it because I have watched a lot of video content on the Nintendo Switch in the last few weeks. But I am not like, oh my god, I have to see this before.
I think
launch.
the thing is though is that Nintendo's audience is shrunk, and I mean it's the way Nintendo handles accounts, the way Nintendo handles online, the way Nintendo handles friends list, the way Nintendo handles purchases, the way Nintendo handles Virtual Console. All of those things have become a running joke over the last 10 years.
And it's making me think that they have not fixed any of this stuff because if they did, they should be super proud of it.
And they should be trying to rebuild confidence. And yes, you're right. The 4 people on this show will end up buying Switches. 3 of us already have them pre-ordered for sure. But the thing is that's not who we're talking about here.
Okay, you're right. but something in our messaging here, Last Place 09 is saying that Nintendo makes toys. They're not making game devices that are like big consumer electronics. No, I think it's totally
dedicated game device.
Yes, but I'm just saying it's not something that's designed to do everything.
I don't think that is.
No one's asking them to say that it's designed to do everything, but these are standard things. They're talking about charging you to play online, and they haven't talked about what that is.
Right.
So, yeah. It's not a toy. You can't just say they're a toy company, so it's okay. That's a problem.
I don't see it as a problem. Again,
I see it as a problem only in the people who care about that. Then it's a problem. I personally don't care about that, so it is not a problem for me.
I'll bet you more people do than don't.
What's that?
I'll bet you more people do than don't.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm backing Kevin up here because I just these excuses to me feel so ridiculous. Nintendo's a toy company.
And
yeah,
it's-
okay, that's how we explained away how they screwed up the NES Classic as
No,
well.
what I think it is that they have a marketing message they want people to talk about, and it doesn't include things like the OS. You know, it includes things like 1-2 Switch and Zelda Breath of the Wild and whatever game content they have coming down the pike. To them, a marketing beat isn't showing off the friend's capabilities of the machine, and I can understand that. I'm not saying I'm not excusing it. I think they should do a video like that.
Right, and I'm not saying this is something they throw up on a commercial during the Super Bowl. I'm saying it's like, hey, you guys have a YouTube channel. Like, walk us through how this thing works, so I don't feel like I'm gonna have to rebuy all my stuff again. Am I gonna actually be able to move my content from one console to another console? If I have a family, can actually have buy content on one account and share it with my girlfriend or something like that? Am I gonna be able to do that? Like that?
Well,
this
on
is
that
stuff that we should know.
There was a YouTube video from a Nintendo event at the Nintendo World Store where they showed off 1-2 Switch, where somebody asked that exact question. And the answer was that there is no system like that currently.
Great. Then we're still stuck in 2008.
So that was disappointing for me to hear because, like Ethan, I have multiple Switches pre-ordered, and I was hoping to hear something about digital content, and now I know that
able to share your games. Like, you buy that stuff, it's like I just, again, it's like Sony's been doing it for a long time. You can use the content that you have purchased on 2 Vitas, on 2 PS4s. Like,
right.
It's something that should be standard. And this
I
is my
agree.
work.
It's disappointing for sure. We're a little more than a week away. I'm sure this week, even as we record on Sunday night, I'm sure by tomorrow morning or certainly Tuesday, there will be even more videos, and this whole discussion may be unnecessary by that point.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I hope there's a Nintendo Direct tomorrow afternoon.
Do you think they're going to do a Nintendo Direct before launch? Because I'm not sure that they will.
I bet you they will. Then again, there was some messaging, I believe it was on their website, that said that we're not going to see more information on their online services until after the system has launched.
Well, because
That's
we're
right,
not even... Yeah, sorry, good.
I mean, that's what they've been saying since the presentation in January, by the way.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm not disappointed in, having a kind of lack of understanding of what's going on there, but I'm just saying that based on what they have sold me right now, and they haven't overpromised. That's the other thing. They haven't said all these things are going to be in here, and then you walk into the store and see that it's not set up. I'm just excited about what they have told me will be there. I'm so excited about it that I'm more than happy to make the purchase day one.
I am right there with you. I care more about being able to play Zelda Breath of the Wild than I do about information on their online service. Like, personally, I don't play a whole lot of online games unless it's Overwatch, or Splatoon. So I mean, I'm fine with that, even if it's the exact same system as the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that. I totally understand that a lot of people are not fine with that, and I do wish that Nintendo would address that. But
yeah,
to me, it's a sort of a non-issue for me personally.
Yeah, and it worries me that they, again, it makes me feel like they don't have confidence in what they got. They have
but Kevin,
I don't think that's true. I think they have a lot of confidence in what they have.
Okay.
I think
so too.
A lot of streamer outreach, inviting huge YouTube personalities to their press events and all the videos that have been out. I think they have huge confidence in in the product they're putting out on March 3rd.
Well, and also let's compare, Kevin, this launch to the Xbox One launch. That is the difference between something that is bare bones and something that was a disaster. I didn't buy an Xbox One, even though the Xbox 360 was my #1 device through that generation, because their handling of the messaging was so bad. Nintendo isn't even close to that bad.
Yeah, because there is no message.
No, what are you talking about? The message is you're no longer tethered to your television set. That's
Let's remember also that when the Xbox One launched, They actually went backwards in terms of the features that they had for that system. They didn't have party chat at launch. You had to do a mandatory day one update that was really big. Like systems at launch, whether it's PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, or Switch,
Totally.
it's gonna be rocky.
Totally. And
don't get cocky, it's gonna get rocky.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, my last point, and I'm sure like the audience is like, you guys fast forward 30 seconds. But my last point is, through the history of the last 3 generations, the other 2 companies you guys have just mentioned, Sony and Microsoft, they've had a really good track record of learning from their mistakes. And Nintendo does not. Nintendo has made mistakes repeatedly in terms of how they've dealt with their preconceived notions of what the audience wants. The Wii was an exception. And then also with their online services and how they handled their digital content the past 2 generations and on their last 3 releases of hardware have been abysmal. They have been archaic in how they've done it. And that's the only thing that I hope that I see something that shows me that Nintendo has learned from their mistakes and they're ready to catch up to the 21st century of how digital content and digital services should be delivered.
And even though you say that, you were buying a Switch on day one, you were going to play Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I'm buying The Legend of Zelda. I'm buying The Legend of Zelda. And this is, again, I'm less thinking about the hardcore gamer that's going to play this stuff. I'm thinking about, all right, are they going to be able to surpass? Yeah, welcome back, Greg. Are they going to be able to
10 minutes? You guys are still going on about this?
Are they going to be able to surpass 30 million units? Like, are they going to be able to reach that, number that is going to make it a successful console and not another Wii U or even worse than the Wii U?
Well, I think all of these things that you're mentioning, like having a modern online service, I think they're probably, making steps towards that, but they're going to do it in their own way, their own Nintendo way, right or wrong.
Yeah, let's not put Netflix on it. Let's not put a web browser on it.
Probably wrong.
Let's not.
Okay, but I think the difference in terms of learning, right? The Switch, I think, has a 1 in 3 chance of actually hitting numbers that are in the 40 million range. No, I'm just saying, like, that's compared to like the Wii U, which is like what, a 1 in 50 chance. I mean, this is up to be successful, I think, with the audience in a way that the Wii U was not.
We'll see. But
it could be. Who knows? Like, the funny thing is, like, before launch, it's hard to tell how this thing is going to go. To me, it is all up to Nintendo's follow through on all of these things, on getting the OS up to speed with what we think a modern OS should be. And I agree that, they have to do that. With getting third parties on board, they have to do that. They have to release these games that they have now announced on time and not suffer too many delays and have a game
that I'm actually not worried about.
Yeah.
So that's the thing they're going to get right.
So they have to do all of those things. The fact that they're launching in March gives them extra time to do a lot of those things, so that when we are up at Q4, when a lot of games are hitting, a lot of people are buying new systems, so that they can say, hey, we have Zelda with all this extra content. We got Mario Kart. We've got Splatoon 2. We've got ARMS. We've got Fire Emblem Warriors. We've got all these great games. We're going to do some different bundles, which everybody is now doing. And I think the way that they are rolling this out is in such a way where they have something to talk about every few weeks or every week through the summer, and that'll be fantastic. If they can do that, then they'll be well positioned for the holidays.
Yeah.
Sure.
They don't have to do everything and answer every single question day one.
They're launching a console.
They do have to try
you keep slipping back into defending the crappy messaging they're doing.
They have to try to do as much as they can from launch, through the summer to the end of the year, to make sure people who bought the system at launch remain happy. And that includes updates to the OS, that includes new games, that includes a lot of things.
Well, and again, I maintain, look only to what they are actually promising. And if that's good enough for you right now, great. And if it's not, then wait. If you are excited about the idea of a real console on the go, great. If you're excited about Zelda on a real console on the go, great. If you don't care about either of those things, wait.
But that's not fair.
But that is how every console launch goes. That's how every single one goes. All right, let's start talking about Switch. We've done enough. Let's move along, shall we?
It's not like you said, let's start talking about Switch.
No, let's stop. We've reached our quota, our max quota. All right, let's talk about some Microsoft news because there's a news story. I think this is actually a blog post. I think from Phil Spencer, where they're reaffirming that Project Scorpio is going to come out for holiday 2017.
Cool.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, it's about as cool to me as PS4 Pro, which I just don't care about.
I am really curious to how they're going to position this, because if it is all your Xbox One games with higher graphic fidelity,
Better
I
frame
don't
rate.
think that's enough. I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I just don't care about that.
If it
Games already
adds,
look great.
okay, we're gonna do that. Plus, there's gonna be VR. I'm not so sure how I feel about that.
Well, it's gonna mean that you have to buy an extra $400 thing. So
Well, yes, I'm personally not all that interested in doing that, but
Nope.
but we'll see. And then, are they going to do exclusive games? They said previously they are not going to do exclusives, so that the games will be basically higher graphic fidelity versions of Xbox One and Windows 10 games.
It's interesting to me because this is all, of course, the tip of the iceberg as far as the iterative console idea goes. And if there's a lack of excitement around this stuff on the very first time they try it, do they keep doing it after that? And
Right.
sooner or later, they're going to have games that require you to be at this level. I mean, just like an iPhone or an Android, right?
Sure.
They're going to have games that require you to be at this level of hardware to play. I don't know how fast that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen quickly, but it will happen if they keep going this route. But also, and I have no idea how the Pro performed, but you know, the lack of excitement around the Scorpio, and I feel like there was a lack of excitement around the Pro.
Yeah.
If both of these don't perform out of the gate, do they continue on with this iterative hardware thing? Because it feels like if they decide that it's not a moneymaker, then they'll go back to their old ways.
Well, and speaking of the phones, I have just kind of come to the realization that my phone really is only a social and productivity device. I don't play games on it anymore. So the nice thing about that is I have an iPhone 6s Plus that I don't feel like I have to upgrade until iPhone 9 or something, unless I am literally forced to because OS updates make my system run horribly. I like the little phone I have, and I don't feel a need to upgrade it. I feel the same way with my PS4 and Xbox One, frankly.
Yeah, I agree that to me, well, that's always been one of the issues that I have. I mean, I'm not, I don't upgrade my phones very frequently either. Although I will say, like, we fired up, I had an old iPhone 3 sitting here that we found the other day, and we loaded it up, and it doesn't run anything anymore, even productivity apps. It just doesn't run anything. So I mean, you are forced to upgrade eventually. But the thing that I've always argued about with this whole iterative console approach is when you look at something like a phone, where it was argued that, you know, well, we do this on our phones already. Yeah, but those are subsidized. Generally, those are subsidized. Right. Not everybody. CJ goes out and buys a new one every year, but most of us, it's subsidized. So that's the other thing that I'm wondering if they don't end up being moneymakers. Like, just curious, because I mean, you remember Sega tried that with the Dreamcast at one point too. It's not unprecedented in a console space. It just hasn't happened since.
What are you saying for cable providers to actually subsidize it?
Something like that.
SegaNet. They use SegaNet.
Yeah, that's right.
They use SegaNet as a subs. Yeah.
Oh, Earthlink too, right?
And I mean, you know, really every console company at this point is set up to do something like that. They all have their own online services. So,
well, the thing about it,
that's what Xbox One was initially. Like by design, they wanted to partner with someone like Comcast.
Yep.
Well, the thing that's most interesting, and I hope Microsoft has watched how the PS Pro went very closely, because I think the people who bought into PS Pro are the people who play games on a 4K monitor at a desk, probably, and really, really care about graphic fidelity. And there are consumers like that. I'm not sure that it is a large...
I know a couple of people that we have one on the show here that bought one.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not sure that it is a large market. So for me, what would make me buy Project Scorpio? Exclusive games is maybe the only thing that would
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would actually serve
they've
to
already said that they're not doing that.
Yeah. Well, because I honestly think there's more to lose than there is to gain from doing that. Not at this point in the Xbox One's life cycle. If we were talking 5 years after the Xbox One came out, maybe. But then you're really into the new console cycle anyway.
But at this fall, it's going to be 4 years.
Yeah, still.
You think that's too soon?
I really do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why I feel that way. Maybe it's because I feel like this console generation, I feel like the first year of this current console generation was kind of a throwaway year.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like anything happened that year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Okay. Well, Microsoft has announced that their E3 2017 press conference is going to be held on a Sunday. Winding it back even more than it was. So E3 is now like a full week.
And their E3 2018 conference is going to be held the following Sunday.
That's right.
Well, it's probably because like their stuff is leaked the last couple of years. So they're trying to maybe back it up just far enough.
That might be true, and it might also be that they want to get the Scorpio announcement out there so that third-party publishers who are doing events Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday can have the space to do those.
Well, I'm really wondering what we're going to see there, because the slate is dry when it comes to first-party releases on the Xbox. I mean, maybe we're going to see Crackdown. That's a hope, but Halo Wars 2 is coming out, next week? Yeah. But beyond that...
It came out this past week, I believe.
Oh, did it? Okay. But what else is there? And actually, it says something that I didn't know that game was out.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the standard ones for sure. Obviously, you've got whatever the next Forza game is. It's probably
that'll definitely be out.
There'll be another Halo of some sort. Yeah, whether it's Halo.
There will be a teaser. You better believe.
But that. I mean, either we're right and they have nothing to show, or they're actually keeping secrets really well this time around. They've got to have something.
They have to empty their pockets right now. They need to really shell out some money for some exclusives, because
that's the other thing.
Selling them right now on their launch lineup. Like, look at just like the first 3 months of 2017. Everything that you want to play is on a PlayStation platform. It's not on the Xbox platform right now, and hopefully they can keep feeding the diehards.
Well, I think it depends
what 360 games.
I think Microsoft does have fans that are excited about Halo Wars, but I think you're right. Like, a lot of the big noise is being made by PlayStation, and secondarily, the launch of the Switch.
That'll be the big deal too, right? What they do is they get a third party that somebody really cares about. That they take something away from the PS4, basically, whether that's like
Platinum
exclusivity on the next Call of Duty or something like that. I mean, that was what they did for years, right? Remember, Activision jumped into bed with Sony and Microsoft back and forth for years.
Yeah, shouldn't forget the Rare stuff. Like, Rare will have the Pirates game. They're probably going to have Perfect Dark 2, potentially. So don't lock it in.
Sea of Thieves, I still don't know what that game is. Like,
it's
I
a
watch
multiplayer game.
I watch videos of 4 people steering a ship around and shooting at other ships, and that's it. And it's like, all right, well,
that's all I need.
What else? What else you got?
That was everything Microsoft, and this is why Microsoft is, again, they're on shaky ground right now, is because a lot of what they showed last year at E3 and the months after that, in terms of the games that they're creating, there were 4-player multiplayer games, like almost exclusively. It's outside of their racing genre. But that is worrying, because they're looking at like competitive games potentially and trying to get into that market of hype and excitement behind the games that they're putting out. But look at how badly that failed with Halo 5. Like, that was just a huge swing and a miss with how they presented that game.
Yeah, they've had some missteps with the Master Chief Collection, certainly. Yeah. Halo 5, there were some missteps there that kind of rubbed some fans the wrong way. So yeah, they kind of have a lot of goodwill to build back up.
Well, and you got to think, like, the other problem must be internally that, as we all know, the Xbox was always supposed to be the Trojan horse to make sure that Microsoft could own the living room the way that they owned the office. And with the response to the Xbox One, when they tried to do that, tried to make it literally the one device that you use for everything, they abandoned that. I wonder if corporate is still actually interested in the Xbox as something that's just basically an enthusiast device, or if they're not really interested in it anymore because now they can't achieve the goal that the Xbox was built to achieve.
I felt like that was the message when they said that all the first party exclusives were PC as well.
Yeah.
on day one.
Well, not just PC, Windows 10,
Windows 10. Yeah, sorry.
not on Steam or anything like
But
that.
I mean, that to me, that was the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And that's how they protect themselves. That's a great way to protect those games.
Yeah, but I just wonder. I mean, we have the Scorpio. We'll see what happens there. But I do wonder if when Microsoft is looking at the 10-year plan for the Xbox, if Xbox is a brand that they even want to hold on to, or if it's something that's going to be spun off and sold to a company like Amazon or something. Because again, it's not ever going to achieve what they originally wanted to do. When they did the first machine and figured that it would be maybe 3 generations until finally they own the living room. Not
Well, I mean, they grossly, I think everybody did, but they grossly misinterpreted what the living room would look like 3 generations down the road.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Funny enough,
So did everyone.
right? But the Switch, not to go back to that, but that is the device that seems to better recognize that everyone wants their own screen now.
But
Let's all be super
it took the horrible failure of the Wii U in the marketplace for them to readjust.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to talking very quickly about PlayStation Now, which is disappearing from some of Ethan's favorite devices in August. So it's going to be gone from the Vita and a bunch of smart
PS3.
TVs and PS3 in August.
Good thing you bought that year-long subscription.
Yeah, and actually, here's my guilty admission: is that I think it plays great, and I absolutely love the idea of PlayStation Now. The problem is, for me, in reality, I don't actually use it very often because I have a backlog of games that I can play through Remote Play now on my PC if I don't have access to the TV. Yeah. And that generally is more compelling to me than playing PS3 games. So I've been supporting it more because I like the idea of a platform where the person who uses it the least subsidizes the heavy players. I think that's a beautiful inversion on current market practices, and I want to support that, but I haven't actually used it much at all over the course of the past 6 months, and I'm probably better off canceling it as a result anyway, to be honest.
Yeah. It is a shame, though, because it by any metric, it's a great idea. It's a great service.
It is a great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a shame now that a lot more ISPs are instituting bandwidth caps, which certainly could put a damper on a service like PlayStation Now.
Yes.
The current FCC, I'm sure, is going to protect all of our rights for data and how it's metered going
I want to point out that I wasn't the one that went political here. Getting some crap for that over the last few weeks.
Should we do some Vita news? Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll run through it real quick. All right, yeah. So the Vita is still like the hottest console in 2017.
That's not correct. That's not
correct.
Spewing
out hits. Like if you like good Japanese releases, you're going to get things like Danganronpa V3 is going to be coming out. It's got a locked-in release date now, September 26th, 2017. We also have, of course, a gigantic release. It came out almost 2 years ago now in Japan, Ys 8. I don't even know how to pronounce that name for the subtitle, which they continue to have the most obscure subtitles that you'll never need to know, but just it's Ys 8. That's going to be coming out fall 2017 on the PS4, PlayStation Vita, and on Windows. Plus, you're getting some weird ass Japanese crap like Tokyo Tattoo Girls. So if you're into the weird shit, you're going to still be able to play that at home in your dark bedroom under the sheets
in a corner when your children are asleep.
And hey,
no one can see you, Ethan.
Ethan, your room is really dark.
Yeah, a new Valkyria game also from Sega, really exciting for the Vita.
Yeah, I mean, there's still lots of stuff like Tokyo Xanadu. The Vita has a lot of life in it if you're into Tokyo or Japanese video games and RPGs, and still some of the independent games of that ilk, but I think they're
look forward to all of those being ported to the Switch.
Yeah, I think that the Switch is going to start to be the replacement for the Vita for sure. Sometimes that's going to be an amazing thing. I mean, once more, just think about Monster Hunter on that device, because I think it's replacing 3DS as well.
We'll see.
No. Oh, okay, we'll see. Yeah.
Did you have anything else on Vita?
No, man, you guys got to charge up that Vita, pull it out, and make sure you get your PS Plus games because
whip it out. Play some Tokyo Tattoo Girls.
Yeah,
get some uppers.
I was very tempted. There was a flash sale this week, and that game Sweet Fuse, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, that's a
Keiji
PSP game.
Inafune, dating game. It's a PSP game. It's only $10 now, but they have it for like $2.99. It was very
I have that
tempting.
sealed in my closet.
Yeah, I might end up picking it up. I don't know. Anyway, let's get on to what we've been playing. I'll go to mine first. I'm just playing the waiting game. That's right.
Oh,
So
not
lame.
when I start anything, huh?
I
So
haven't-
lame.
Yeah, I haven't started anything because I know that I'm going to be playing the hell out of Breath of the Wild, and I don't want to start anything until that point. So I didn't pick up Yakuza 0. I didn't pick up Resident Evil 7. Haven't picked up any other games this month, and I don't plan on it. Everything's
I don't
going
blame you.
towards the Switch.
Makes sense.
All right, Greg.
That was so lame.
Oh,
So I named last year. I named Thumper as one of my games of the year.
Yeah.
For the PlayStation VR, and I think I mentioned this a little while ago, a few weeks back. I had gotten to, and I apologize for my voice. I got into the end of the game, and I don't know, Ethan, if you've played through the end.
Not the end of Thumper. No, I'm still going back to it now and again.
The end gets really weird, and I should mention there's 9 worlds in that game, and I think after World 1, there's no world that's got fewer than 20 plus levels to it.
Yeah, I think I'm at World 7.
Yeah, the game is massive for the kind of game it is. Anyway, the final set of levels gets insanely, not just hard, but really tricky. And I got to literally the final course a few weeks back. I must have played it 30 times that night, could not beat it. Got so mad. I was in one of those controller throwing moods by the end, which thankfully I didn't do because, that thing would be expensive to replace. So anyway, I went out because I made a promise to myself a long time ago that I wasn't just going to buy bunches and bunches of VR games because they're generally so cheap and they'd be easy to just build a huge backlog. So I finally went out and picked up Rush of Blood because I've been meaning to play that since the demo. And
Hope you got it for $10 or cheap.
I didn't actually. I paid full price. Full price was only $20.
Oh, right. Okay.
So anyway, I put it in, and it was as it was getting ready to play. I saw the Thumper icon sitting there. It's like, I got so mad at that game last week or 2 weeks ago, but I fired it up anyway. First try, beat the game on the first try.
Nice. That must have felt great.
It
That's
did, yeah. And it was one of those things because I like to finish my games, and where I call that one of my favorite games of 2016. It was really bothering me that I was right at the end of the game and I didn't finish it. So
yeah.
So anyway,
you should tell the developers that story on Twitter because indie guys love to hear that.
Oh really? Maybe I will then. But so then Rush of Blood. I've been playing Rush of Blood, which again there was a demo of that in the PlayStation VR demo disc. So Rush of Blood is a spin-off of the Until Dawn game.
Sorta.
Yeah, kind of. It's branded as an Until Dawn game. You're in a carnival. Well, you're in a carnival setting. I mean, I think it's supposed to be your mind, but you're literally riding a roller coaster and shooting things with the Move controllers.
Yep.
And the demo was fantastic. The proper game itself is just that much better. I really enjoying it. I love the way that it actually starts off where you are literally on what you would call a carnival ride. You're shooting BB guns at the beginning of the game, which is kind of cool. And you're actually following the sort of host character. He's in a car in front of you.
Well, any journo that ever has called a game a roller coaster ride,
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. But one thing that happened that I was a little shocked at is actually I got to the level that was in the demo, and hard crash locked right up on me. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised at that. So I haven't played it since. That was the beginning of this week. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the purchase. Hopefully, this isn't a stopping point. I'll play it again probably tonight, maybe, and hopefully get past it. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. So jumping in my next VR game, and then after, I think it's only like a 2.5-3 hour experience or something like that, maybe 5 hours. And then I'm gonna start really putting time into Resident Evil 7 for as long as I can handle it.
Nice.
Have you started that
all
yet?
the time. I played like 40 minutes of it, but I like I said, I don't want to jump into it just yet.
Cool. Yep. Makes sense.
That's really all I've been playing.
Alrighty. Ethan, what do you got?
So the big new game I've been playing this week is For Honor. And I picked that up not because it's the type of game I typically play, but because I work at a physics game company. And so I was able to expense that so that we can take a look at what the game is all about.
It's research. It's research.
Yeah,
I'm just laughing because I just expense like all my video games of this year for my business loosely.
Yeah.
I just like how you put on our outline that you were playing Maid of Honor, and like it's the movie with Jennifer Lopez.
Oh,
Whatever
right.
guy was.
Yeah, it's
That's
Patrick
funny.
Dempsey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
God, CJ.
yeah, the game, the story is absolutely
I've not seen the film. Let's be clear.
ludicrous. Oh, right.
McDreamy. How do you not know that?
So no, and when I'm talking about story, the story of the movie Maid of Honor is great, but the story of the game For Honor, not as good. So the
Lots
thing
of parallels there.
yeah, no, I mean you have knights and samurai and some other class that I can't remember, all coming together fighting for land, and this
Vikings, right?
Vikings, thank you. Yeah, and so this subsequently makes a single player campaign that doesn't make a whole lot of sense and doesn't have a narrative through line that you care about at all. And I understand that's not the point of the game, but once more, this just reminds me that there's this entire category of games as a service that I just don't care about. I don't want to invest heavily in any of these endless games and learn how to progressively get better so that I can join guilds and be a part of a team ongoing. I take nothing away from people who love that, but I can see early on that the campaign is throwaway and this is mostly a multiplayer game. And even though it does some neat things with combat, there is almost kind of a fighting game element to it as you're facing off one-on-one against people on the battlefield. It's really neat, but I don't want to invest the time or energy to get good at it. I want something that I can polish off in 8 hours and say, that's it, and I'm done, and move on to the next thing. And it has to be a campaign mode that's satisfying enough to feel like there was real time put into it. So unlike something like Call of Duty that offers both a really solid multiplayer experience, which I can play for a couple hours, and a campaign, which I can play through that really feels crafted for the purpose of telling an interesting story, this is kind of a throwaway experience, as I said, in the campaign, and so not so interested in that. But again, it makes you wonder, like, is it worth it putting a campaign in there at all? When you look at something like Overwatch, they just say, we're not about that, and don't add that. So I wonder if we're going to see increasingly people do that instead of what you see here, which is, this meaningless solo campaign that's not that fun.
I'll give you some tips and tricks right now, guys. If you see a box that says Ubisoft on it in the year 2017, you can bet your butt it's going to be heavily multiplayer focused, and it's going to be you climbing towers, and it's going to be you doing a lot of those, checking off boxes on the map.
And it's going to be $30 in a couple of weeks.
Well,
yeah, but I mean,
this is another one of those things where the trend in 2017 is, okay, we'll have you buy the game. We want you to continue playing it, not sell it back right away. So we're going to add some hooks into this game where you're going to want to continue playing with your friends, have a little social pressure there to keep the game and keep playing, or we're going to have some extra content for you down the line. Like this is a thing in 2017 in games. Like this is where the industry is going. For Honor is just the latest thing, but basically The Division, Rainbow Siege,
Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon coming up in March. All of those games, Steep, basically everything, every big third-party game now is designed in that way.
I hope that that's not the case, simply because I think that these games, then they take up so much time that players, even the ones that love those games, are only going to be able to support so many. And I think Ubisoft in particular, I'm a big Ubisoft fan. One of my favorite games of last year was Watch Dogs 2, which took me off guard. I didn't think it would be nearly as good as it was. I think of the 28 plus hours I put into that game, about 45 minutes was multiplayer. So it was like a completely peripheral thing that was fine. I wonder what Assassin's Creed is going to look like. That's my big question. Are they going to still make that principally a single player game, or is it going to be all of the multiplayer shenanigans that are leading the design efforts? Not sure. What do you think?
Meaning you look at when Ubisoft does like an investor call, they're like, this is what is driving our business. I think you can pretty much expect that that will be in there. Like I'll be kind of shocked if it isn't.
Yeah, again, I'm fine with it being there, provided it doesn't mean that I don't get a good single player game. And that is the problem with me with For Honor. And same thing with like Far Cry. I play that exclusively as a single player game, and I'll continue to do so provided they have a good single player game. But if they start making it like The Division, where there is either no separation at all, or it's just like For Honor, where there's just kind of a crap single player game, I'm out. I just have decided that this year, anything that you would call games of a service as a service, I'm just not going to spend my own money on. And that includes Ghost Recon, and that includes any kind of Destiny 2 or Overwatch follow-up, not because they're not good games, but because whenever I buy those games, I spend 2 hours in them and then say, nope, there's no end to this. I'm not going to get to a satisfying point where I can say I'm finished, and I have just no interest. And I hope that we don't see the entire market go in that direction. Frankly, it's one of the reasons I'm excited about Switch, because I think we see
Oh
like
God,
Zelda.
stop it. Stop it.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's a lot of single player games. So
you don't
anyway,
think Nintendo's going to try to do the same thing with their franchises that are?
I think it's going to be.
Wait. A lot of single player games. What are you talking about?
There's
Bomberman.
one, there's Zelda.
Yeah.
Well, Zelda and Mario and Setsuna
Mario Kart, Bomberman.
Okay.
Arnold
No, but I'm
Eclipse.
saying it sounds like they're at least giving us a balance, and that's what I'm looking for.
Oh God.
So,
Then-
okay. But I'm just saying
Come
that's
on, no
what
fake
I.
news. Let's go. Come on.
So the other thing I've been playing is I found the one thing that Fire Emblem Heroes was for was
Ethan, stop. Turn your video off.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think Rinsler got you, man. You got de-rezzed.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I'm not sure how that works.
Just go into the Hangout, and the little camera icon with the slash through it that pops up at the top of the screen.
Click it.
Yeah.
Just click that.
Okay.
Then you'll be fine.
There we go. Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Okay. So, yeah, I was saying the one and only thing that Fire Emblem Heroes is good for was that it got me in the 2 hours that I played it, convinced to go back to Fire Emblem Fates, and I've ended up putting about another 16 hours into that. I'm now, so I'm now at a total of 190 hours.
I don't know where you find your time.
That game. And
man.
I just love it. I love it so much. I love being in a position where I fight to get through one stage, and it's so close, and you have a scenario where your hero, who if he dies, the whole game's over, comes up against an enemy who has a 77% chance of dealing a killing blow but misses, and you continue on. That feels great. And I find that I go back to the game. Like I just had a sequence where two of my favorite characters died. They weren't really important characters, but I have an emotional bond. So I ended up playing through that sequence again, even though I was able to beat it in a squeaker match. And I was able to do it the second time and actually save everyone. And that felt so good. It's like the stakes are so high in that game. It feels so rewarding. And it's still like far and away my favorite game ever. I just cannot put this thing down. And I'm just so happy that these games are so long too, because I'm at chapter 21 on Conquest. I finished Birthright. I haven't started Revelations yet. And so I still have, like, of the 190 plus hours I put into it, I still have another 200 hours or so to go, which is awesome. So that I'm loving. And then, it's, I know, Kevin, you like the Fire Emblem games, yeah?
Yeah, I totally do. I have problems figuring out how to enjoy those games the way that they should be, because I know there's people like, Riccardi that will say, like, you got to play these games with the permadeath on it.
No,
but I'm not. I know I'm with you, CJ. Like I'm just not very good at, like, I didn't grow up playing these games. Like the first game that I played like this was probably on like the Game Boy Advance or something like that, like Advance Wars. But like,
to be fair, they weren't very common in the U.S. on consoles up to that point. I mean, you had the Shining Force series, and that was like the main one that did this stuff.
Yeah, my first one was Awakening.
Like, and I just have a problem, like, it's getting my strategy right and learning how you should really play those games correctly. Because if I do something wrong and like shit hits the fan and I like lose a bunch of people, then I have to restart, and then you can lose 20 minutes of progress. And that's just not how my rhythm of game playing is today.
Oh, and for sure, you have to be ready to lose progress, because you will frequently be in a position in which you are 45 minutes into a match and a character that you just can't live without bites it.
Right.
And then you just have to reset. Again, the way those games are built, the left, right trigger and start, if you hit them all at the same time, it does a soft reset. And they do that because people that play permadeath need a fast way to get back into the game once they have to start over. But again, that's stakes. It's real stakes in the game. And so when I play Heroes, I have a lot of problems with it. But one of the things is that these 3-minute matches where no one dies, there's just, it doesn't seem like there's enough there to motivate me to feel excited about what happens. It's just a grind. Here, every match makes a difference. And so, yeah, I can't get enough. So the third and final game is I've been playing yet more Hatsune Miku, and I've now ended up picking up all 3 of those games on Vita because they are awesome. They are just really, really great rhythm games.
Do you have the DS one?
I do not. I only have
the 3DS version. The 3DS Hatsune Miku game is so much better than the Vita games.
Really?
Yeah, because it's actually like the rhythm of it is a lot better, because I don't like how like the letters or like the button presses fly in. Like that doesn't jive with me, but it's just like a regular rhythm game on the 3DS version. And I quite like it.
Okay, well, I'll have to check it out, because I am blown away by how much I've been enjoying that. It's just one of those can't get enough. I'm so glad there are 3 on the market so that I could just roll from one to the next to the next.
If you can deal with the music, they're really good rhythm games. But I think like for a lot of the potential audience out there, they're just going to get so turned off by the music.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing.
Alrighty, Kevin, what you got?
You guys, I've been playing some games. First I will say I saw John Wick 2 yesterday or 2 days ago.
Awesome.
Oh, I got to see that.
Man, that movie is, John Wick 1 is like one of my favorite movies
awesome.
of all time. And I have so much that I purchased it on 3 different platforms. It was a very Ethan thing for me to do.
But don't you love that his motivation is not like his wife has been killed by someone, but it's like the dog in the car? I love that. I love the setup for that whole thing.
And like the only thing I'll say about 2 is I'm a big fan of movies that kind of pick up right where the last one left off.
Yep.
Which is kind of what happens in John Wick Chapter 2, and it looks like they are going to full-on franchise this thing, which if they keep it at the quality that it's at, go for it. But I don't go to the movies very often, like maybe 3 movies a year, and it's that good that I had to go into a movie theater at 3:30 in the afternoon in an empty movie theater and watch it, which was still pretty awesome. So a couple games real quick. Dragon Quest VIII, I've been continuing to play that on the 3DS. It's fantastic. Like if you have a 3DS and you have any inkling for wanting to play an RPG, like that is some of the best RPG video gaming I've ever played in my life. Like it's on the complete opposite spectrum of Persona 4 Golden, which is more modern. I'm not usually a big fan, like I'm not a Game of Thrones type person, but the writing in it is really fantastic. Even the voice work is pretty good, and it runs really well on the new 3DS. I think it actually runs, it's one of those games that runs a little bit better on the new 3DS hardware. The fighting is super quick, like the battles are fast, and the story continues to move, which is why I avoided Dragon Quest 7. Is that it, like literally in Dragon Quest 8, within the first minute of that game starting, you're in a battle, and that is kind of what I need to be able to play video games today. Like I just can get bored rather quickly, and with the plethora of games that we have available to us, I'll continue to move on. But I'm like 15 hours into that, and the only thing that's going to get into its way is Zelda, and over the next couple weeks. But I'm hopefully going to be able to finish up that game because it's just so good. Pick it up, support, Nintendo bringing that game to the 3DS, and buy a copy while you still can, because it's probably not going to, there's probably not going to be a ton of copies out there.
Well, and 10 and 11 are coming too to the Switch.
We'll see if they come to the States though.
11 definitely
11
will. But
Also, along with that, Yakuza 0, I know you guys have been talking about that. Was it, Ethan? You've been playing that, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah. I think I'm like 35 hours in Yakuza 0. I just
Wow. God.
play it on the weekends, but I end up playing like 10 hours every weekend. I never touch it during the week, but then I boot up the PS4 on the weekend, and that's pretty close to, I don't know. I don't want to say like a perfect game, but it's amazing how they recreate those worlds. Like it's on a much smaller scale compared to what you get in a Grand Theft Auto, but like you can walk around. Like the first area that you're in is basically Kabukicho. Like it is mapped perfectly. Like the Don Quixote is right where you expect it to be. Like there are a bunch of things that are landmarks that are still there today.
Yep. I think it's better. I think it's better storytelling than GTA 5. I think that the characters are much more interesting, and I like the experience of all more.
It's much more unique than what we generally get in Western video games. The writing is absolutely fantastic. The combat is good enough. It definitely gets repetitive after 35 hours, but you learn a bunch of different techniques, and as long as you continue to mix them up, you will have a lot of fun and be wary of your surroundings. So you make sure that you are using items and things that you might be. I could probably smash some dude's face into this, or I could probably throw this guy over this bridge into the river. Like watch out for that kind of stuff, and it definitely adds to the enjoyment. And it's just. Like you guys know me, I like Fast and Furious movies. Like I love ridiculous, over the top stuff, and this game is ridiculous, over the top Japanese, Yakuza drama. Like it is really, really good. And
what I love also compared to GTA is it's like you look at like Michael and the characters in that, Trevor, and they're unlikable characters that just seem to be rotted to the core, right? Whereas like you look at the characters in Yakuza and they're badasses, but like they're have John kind Wicks. Of that heart of gold. Yeah, exactly.
They're John Wicks because they're built on a system of honor. Like they do things, sometimes they do some bad things, but at the end of the day, if they have to, decide to do something really bad and they like that, this would be a terrible thing to do, they do the right thing, as Spike Lee once said. A Spike Lee movie.
Well, and it opens with the hero doing something awful, but you still love him.
I mean, he didn't pay his debt, dude. Like you got to beat him up. Like that's his fault. But yeah, Yakuza 0 is great, and I think like I was talking to Peter Brown, I think it's like going to be roughly a 60-hour experience to get through the story of that, and like I have no problem not rushing through it. It's oddly enough where I'm a person that plays a game half an hour, 45 minutes at a time. During the weekends, if I haven't been working as much lately, so I've just been sitting around and playing Yakuza, putting it on pause, putting it to sleep, doing stuff, coming back and playing some more. And the momentum of the story is it's something that I've never seen in a game of that length, which is quite a thing to say. And
are they generous with content too? There's so much in that game.
Yeah, they didn't do the thing that they did with previous entries by cutting things out. Yakuza 0, and I really hope that at some point they do have the ability and the time and the resources to port Yakuza 4 and 5 or somehow make them backwards compatible, because, or maybe 3 and 5, 4 again. So it's incredibly slow, like when you're on the orphanage and stuff. But Yakuza 0 is just like the perfect blend of all this. Last two things, playing Mega Man 6 for episode with Phil. I think we're still trying to figure out scheduling for that, but that's going to be happening soon. And after we finished the Link's Awakening episode, I began playing Zelda 2 again.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
such a great game.
I'm going to Japan 2 weeks from today. I'll literally be on a flight at this point 2 weeks from today. And I'm going to meet up with the 8-4 guys, and I think what we'll do is talk about Zelda 2. I don't know if it'll be like a regular episode. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but I did the first thing by playing like 2 hours and grinding to increase my health a bunch, and now I'm going to go to the first dungeon and try to kind of ease my way through that game. But it's it's all right. It's on 3DS, whatever. And then finally, I got the 30th anniversary soundtrack, or Symphony soundtrack. It's the Symphony concert recording for The Legend of Zelda, which is absolutely outstanding. If you weren't as lucky as people like CJ to go and see the concert live, go to Amazon Japan and order a copy of this 2-disc set. It just it takes the music of The Legend of Zelda to a whole nother level, and it's the music that is one of the main reasons that series is so important to me, is how magical the music that has been created for that is. So go check out all that stuff.
That's
Alrighty.
great. Oh, and speaking of music, I heard my 6-year-old son singing to himself the following. On the first day of Switch, Miss Luigi gave to me a cartridge in a pear tree, which I just loved.
Should we call social services guys? Do you want to do that, or do you want to do that? Someone in the chat.
And then he was like, I learned it from watching you, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're gonna be up in the clock tower. We couldn't. The Switch only lasted 2 years. What am I gonna do? It got sunsetted.
All right, let's do some tweets. What do you think about that?
Let's do it.
Yep.
I think it's time. All right, hacker alias P.O. Rowe says, if the new Zelda game is a masterpiece, does it equal higher sales, or will it sell a certain amount no matter how good it is?
I feel like it's going to sell a certain amount no matter how good it is.
Yep.
That's probably true. Yeah. All right.
Games never sell a lot anyway. So if it sells
True.
like 3 million copies, that would be probably a pretty good showing for North America.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, Uncharted 3 on far fewer platforms significantly sold better numbers than Skyward Sword, right?
Yeah, I don't think Skyward Sword sold very well at all.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Anyway, hacker alias Ian Hill says, what's everyone's favorite Zelda game for both console and handheld? Mine are Zelda 1 and Oracle of Seasons.
Great choices. Ocarina of Time for me.
But what about on a handheld?
On a handheld, Link
both?
Between Worlds for sure.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
I'm a big fan of Link to the Past. I think main console. I think I'd have to go with. I still really like Minish Cap a lot.
I
know
got
that's a
stuck
weird
somewhere
choice,
there.
but
Just
I
never
love that
finished.
game.
I'm going to cheat slightly and go Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time 3D.
That's
That's not a
Wind
cheat.
Waker as well.
That's fine.
The best Zelda game of all time is A Link Between Worlds. So that is obviously going to be the portable one. And
yeah, you're probably actually. I want to fix my vote. Wind Waker, Link Between Worlds.
You know, the thing is, honestly, once you get up to like Link to the Past, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, Link Between Worlds, like all those kind of mixed together. Like,
Yeah.
if you asked me a month from now, my favorites, they probably wouldn't be the same too.
Yeah, I think Ocarina of Time has a specific place in my heart, just because of like that game came out when I was 12 or whatever, or 11, and it was just kind of a magical game that I was absolutely obsessed with. Every issue of Nintendo Power coming in, and I'm just soaking in every last bit of information before that game arrived on Christmas Eve. But it's odd. I've been kind of not like down, but it's the winter right now, so we get like seasonal affectiveness disorder, and like I've been thinking, like I really wish I had a Wii U right now to play through just like a little bit of Wind Waker, because of how magical that environment, that universe is, in the music as well, of course.
Oh yeah.
But it's Ocarina of Time, and it's Link Between Worlds.
Yeah. So Skyward Sword.
I love you for saying that. You know that, right?
I'm just saying Skyward Sword. We were talking about sales. It was like 3.6 million.
Yeah,
according to this. So, which I think the only other main console game it beat out was
Twilight got like 6.
Majora's Mask.
Right. And so if you think about Call of Duty Black Ops 3 breaking 30 million, there's your comparison.
Yeah, Twilight Princess was over 7 million on the Wii.
Wow. Yeah.
It's actually, if you combine the two, I think it's the best-selling Zelda game ever.
All right, hacker alias Knee First One says, in light of Zelda DLC, how do you expect Nintendo to handle Splatoon 2? The original's ongoing free updates were nice.
Sorry, repeat that. I lost.
Oh, in light of Zelda's DLC, how do you expect Nintendo to handle Splatoon 2? Because the first game had ongoing free updates.
For a game like Splatoon, or we mentioned Mario Kart 8 when we were talking about season passes at the beginning of the show. I have less of a problem with season passes with games like that because those games are meant to be competitive. They're single level per play session games.
Right.
It makes more sense to me to do a season pass or something like that.
I'd go the other way, and I'd say actually it's harder because then in a multiplayer context, you're splitting your base if you're making people pay for additional maps, and that's always a real pain. So my preference is to have that stuff in a single-player game where you're not affecting the entire user base.
Yeah, but I would argue that if you have enough content in the game itself, you don't have a problem.
Well, a game like Splatoon 2, if it's anything like Splatoon 1, they're going to continue to do the free map updates. Where I expect them to do DLC or
Weapons?
sell you things are in outfits, not weapons.
Really?
I would expect that. Maybe we'll see something else. I mean, the original did have those mini games that you could get if you had the amiibos, or if you had the amiibos and then completed the amiibo challenges that those unlocked, which I never did because they were way too friggin' hard. I would expect them to keep a lot of what made Splatoon 1 popular in the sequel.
And as an aside,
sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm okay with spending the $20 on the Zelda DLC, but frankly, I would have preferred it if that had just come piece by piece through amiibos, that each Zelda amiibo unlocks something different. I'd love that.
Come on.
They want to sell you amiibos and sell you DLC.
Yeah, and they are. They got special amiibos for the game.
Yeah, I may be interested in 2 of those Zelda amiibos.
Jesus Christ.
I'm interested in the one with Link with the bow and then the Zelda amiibo. Those are the 2 that I'm interested in.
I can't wait till we have like the Nintendo version of the Atari trash heap of unsold amiibos.
Well, you just look at the Animal Crossing.
Yeah, just look at the Animal Crossing.
Local EB. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, amiibos drop in price fairly quickly now, so I will likely wait on a lot of those.
Still haven't found a Boo. The only one I'm interested in is Boo, and I can't find one.
King Boo or regular Boo, whatever. Yeah. All right, Hacker Alias Gaming Tweets 64 says, "Can the Switch make local multiplayer popular again? Is this a profitable path for Nintendo to take?"
No and no.
No and no.
Yeah, I'm totally stoked for it, but I think local multiplayer is always going to be tough to do because that is reliant on you having lots of friends who own this device and think that it will struggle to gain that kind of traction.
Rinsler got him again.
What's that?
I didn't hear a word of that, but I'm sure it'll be on the recording.
I'm sure it was deep, whatever it was.
Yeah. So, I think that will not bring multiplayer local back, and I don't think it'll be a success, though I love every year that it's out of the market.
I mean, local multiplayer is something that Nintendo was doing with the Wii U as well on some games. I mean, it's still around. I think the bigger thing is I don't think that the Switch is going to sell the numbers it needs to make local multiplayer exciting anyway.
That's fair. All right, Hacker Alias Thorbon 3 says, "Do you think the Switch will have a better version do you think the Switch will have better versions come out like the 3DS down the road?" I think with the type of processor that they're partnering with NVIDIA, and it's supposedly a Tegra variant, I think you could very easily see better versions of the Switch come out. I would expect that to be the case, quite honestly. And I am not sure that they will make as big of a fuss about it as they did with the new Nintendo 3DS, but I do see that happening.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they absolutely have to. Again, it's the battery life. They have to. It's at 3 hours right now. Like they need to get it.
I think that part's fine. I think if you make a more powerful Switch, you're probably still going to be at 3 to 5 hours.
They won't make it necessarily more But usually the trajectory of new processors give us not just more power in terms of processing power, but usually in terms they also give us power efficiency as well. So,
Sure.
Hopefully, I'm not saying like 15 hours, but if we could get to like 6, that'd be good.
Sure. Yeah, and the best news with that is, if they make a new model Switch, your Joy-Cons will still work with whatever the new one is.
That's true.
So you'll just have an extra pair of them or whatever. So,
well, and I see it as quite possible that they get a power boost that makes it easier for devs to port things from the PS4, Xbox One arena. That combined with hopefully lower cost for media will make it.
That.
Why?
Because then it will work on the launch systems.
Right. No. I think that you will have a handful of products that come out for the Switch update that will only be able to run. They've already done that with new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah, dude, that's like the worst. The worst
game
thing they've ever done. Like they never do a good job with that. Like they did on the DSi, on the new 3DS. Like it just never works. No one is going to support that in terms of developers, except for Nintendo first party themselves.
I can see that. Yeah, I guess I'm just being a bit wishful there because it would seem to make a lot of sense.
I do think it's kind of funny that you're saying you're being wishful about something like that happening, but a minute ago you were saying you don't like the idea of DLC levels in games like Mario Kart and Splatoon because you're afraid they would split the market. What you just described would split the market even worse.
Right. No, I'm just saying that as far as my experience with it would be, I know that I would upgrade the machine and I would know that I'd subsequently have access to that. I'm much happier to buy new hardware iterations than I am map packs and stuff like that.
But you didn't buy a PS4 Pro and you're not excited about the Scorpio.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it does. It does because of the fact that I think that if the Switch is well supported, given the advantages it provides me, it's going to be my primary machine, my dominant machine.
So when you say you're happy to buy new hardware variants, what you're saying is you're happy to buy a new Switch.
Yes.
Here's how I look at better hardware variants. If it is a system that I am using as a primary place where I play games, I am more inclined to buy a hardware iteration. I did that for the new Nintendo 3DS. I would imagine I would do that for Switch because I like Nintendo's games. I might do that for PS4 Pro if it goes down in price.
What if they release a Glacier White?
Yeah.
Although I will say that I think that actually when you look at Nintendo's history, if we're talking about handhelds, Nintendo does normally handle their handheld updates really well. They've been doing iterative hardware successfully for 20 years now, 25 years now, and doing it right. The 3DS is one of the first time, or the new 3DS is one of the first times I think you can say that well, no, I guess it wasn't because the Game Boy Color did the same thing, but even the Game Boy Color was completely backwards compatible with everything before it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, Nintendo does know how to do this right, but I think that the upgrade would probably be much more along the lines of what Kevin's saying, where we get the battery life figured out or something along those lines.
Better contrast.
Better contrast.
All right, hacker alias ZMiller1902 says, has the Amiibo bubble burst? Did Animal Crossing pop it?
Nope. I think Amiibos are totally done. They're totally done.
I think if they get away from Animal Crossing, they're still a thing.
No one's gonna buy more Amiibos because
Ethan is.
Okay.
But I haven't bought Wario or Waluigi. There's big ones that I have decided not to.
Okay. When I say this, I say it in the context of like people that wouldn't listen to this show. I mean, like the people that would like stroll by an aisle in Target and be like, "Oh, this shit looks cool. I'm gonna pick up one of these because I like Samus." Especially when she's in her Zero suit. So I'm going to pick that up. What I'm saying is people already bought these guys. They already have. Look at how many you have behind you, CJ. You have every character.
No, don't look. No, let me block.
Yeah, you have like every character that Nintendo has ever produced.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Okay.
Patently false. Fake news.
We need to get Mother. Let's get Mother 3 Amiibos for a game that didn't come out here in the States. But what I'm saying is like you can't sell this stuff based on like the characters that they got left. Let's say that. And then B, they've done a real shit job like actually giving you a reason to buy these things for the games that support them. When was the last time you touched an amiibo? When was the last time you touched an amiibo to your console, CJ?
A long time. It's been a long time.
It's been 4 days for me. No, seriously. I tapped Marth to get Locked in Conquest.
I know, but that game came out like a year ago.
I'm still playing it.
Well, I think Nintendo will keep making amiibo for as long as they keep selling. I think we'll probably see amiibo support in their upcoming games like ARMS. I wouldn't be surprised to see it there. Wouldn't be surprised to see
Splatoon, Mario Kart 8,
Splatoon have something new, like
new Mario game. They'll all have amiibo support.
Actually, you know what I have, but I just like only played the first level was the Yoshi Woolly's World for 3DS. That works with those amiibos, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I have it
one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it comes with the Poochie one.
That's
no,
right.
I got the one without it. I didn't. I can spend an extra $10 for a Yoshi amiibo. Kidding?
Well, it's not even Yoshi; it's Poochie.
Yeah, get it right. Yoshi came with the Wii U version.
I buy action figures.
I buy action. If there's no kung fu grip, Kevin's not interested.
This is what amiibo should look like.
Awesome.
There you
love
go.
that. I love that pose.
I think Toys to Life is basically dead, right?
No, Lego Dimensions is still bringing stuff out.
Okay, Lego Dimensions is still doing it. I mean, as long as there's someone who will,
the only company doing it right.
as long as there's a market who will buy it, they'll keep making them, and I'm fine with that.
Well, the Skylanders, they're not making a new game this year. They're just making new Skylanders, right? That's probably not a good sign.
That's right. Yeah. All right, let's end it with this tweet from hacker alias Rambus Dunk, who says, could you make an argument that Ubisoft is the most important publisher in video games today?
How and why and no.
Expected answer from Ethan, I would say.
Wait, I thought you just said you loved Ubisoft games.
Yeah, but the most important?
Yeah, most important is kind of a stretch. I think they're one of the top 3 publishers for sure.
Who would you say is the most important publisher in video games today?
Tengen.
Well,
they got the best Tetris.
Yeah,
that's true.
I from a first party perspective, of course, I put both Sony and Nintendo before Ubisoft. I do prefer Ubisoft output to Activision's, including the Blizzard stuff, to be honest. Again, for me, that's principally off the back of their single player experiences. If they're going to go all in on the games as a service, that's not for me.
I think really here the problem is that we probably all have a different definition of important.
Yeah,
that's true.
What makes them what is the definition of important in this question? Is it important that who's bringing over I think Atlas is important when you look at,
or you could just say Sega because they are Atlas.
Yeah,
exactly. You could say that Nintendo is important for doing what they're doing with the Switch, or is it the most innovative? Or it could be 100 different things. Ubisoft is a huge publisher. I think that they do some really important things for sure.
Here's one thing I'll say about Sony is I love their balance of kind of art to commerce in their release schedule. So you have things that are clearly kind of trying to focus on what's hot in the market, but that doesn't keep them from pushing forward and releasing things like Last Guardian or Last of Us. That's great. I love that kind of mix. You have the clear feeling that there are a lot of people there that truly love and understand video games.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Doing it the best right now. I think Sony they're just kicking ass.
They're right up there. I mean, they're doing The Last Guardian. If that had been a Microsoft game, it would have been canceled years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. If it had been almost any other company's game, it would have been canceled. That's
exactly.
That's a Microsoft doesn't understand thing. That's wow, are we ever putting money on this game?
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of number of franchises that I am interested in playing, I think Ubisoft is up there for a non-first party perspective, for sure.
I'd back that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sony and Nintendo are probably ahead of that for me, just in terms of game purchases from first party. But yeah, is that where we're ending it?
We got another good tweet. We got like a showstopper.
I don't think we have a showstopper. Oh wait, this one from Hacker Alias, Mr. M. Oh wait, Mr. Nelson.
Oh,
Can never
Jesus
get that right
Christ.
because the M's
I
and
don't
the
know
R's
why.
I just read this tweet.
run together. Will Ethan be buying matching purses for his multiple Switches?
Guys, it was great being on the show this week.
Yeah, let's just.
Thanks so much for
Why would you
having
do
us.
this?
That was a blast.
No is the answer.
No is the answer. Just one purse.
Just one for me. My
And
daughter doesn't
not
need
just
Listen, it's European. All right, leave him alone.
Yeah, if you don't have a fanny pack,
Ariel.
I want to see a picture on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I want the trifecta of a Switch in a fanny pack within the first 24 hours of launch.
I happened to watch the first episode of Seinfeld, the Seinfeld pilot, the other day,
Yeah, right.
and one of the running gags was George in his fanny pack, and all I could think of was Ethan.
It's European.
Hey, all I have to say is you get to a certain age, you're married and you're settled, and you can just say, I'm going to do whatever is convenient. I do not care about style.
exactly. Who are you trying to impress?
Right.
Done. Alrighty. I think that's a good place to wrap it.
Are you going to do the entire outro this week? Because I can't get through the whole thing.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our email addresses, blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward,
Yes, you will.
Generation 16 episodes, also from Mr. Greg Seward.
Feeling the pressure on those?
That's right. And you will find a message board where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners. If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can go to the iTunes Music Store, or what else does Phil say here? I don't even remember.
You can subscribe to this on our website or through the iTunes Music Store.
Yeah. And while you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also spend $1.99
Cheap.
to get the Player One Podcast iPhone application. It gives you one-touch communications with us via voicemails and Twitter.
Oh my God.
I did that on purpose. Via the emails, the Twitters, the what-haves yous, and you can get all of our episodes delivered to your listening device. Yeah, I think that's how that goes. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users, you can also get the Player One Podcast application for your device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap. I love listening to you doing Phil's voice.
That does all the stuff that the other thing did. And the Amazon Android App Store. You can like us on Facebook. We're available on Stitcher Radio. What else? I don't remember.
Patreon.
Oh, Patreon, yeah. If you like what you've heard, and how could you can go to www.patreon.com/P1podcast and throw a few shekels our way. It keeps Ethan afloat in Switch and Vita fanny packs.
Of course it does. Yep.
And if you have a few other shekels, you can go to patreon.com/generation16. Is there a hyphen in there, or is it just Generation 16?
Just Generation 16.
And throw a few shekels off to Mr. Greg Seward as well for his fine web series about everybody's favorite number 2, the Sega Gen. Is that what? Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, sure.
It is? Yeah, Sega Genesis.
Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection is what it's called.
Yeah, that's yep. What else does Phil say here?
Goodbye. Just start the goodbyes.
Says goodbye. All right, Greg.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me.
You know what? I want to tell you, this past week, our city's been shut down, I think 3 times
Yeah.
because of snow. My kids went to school one day last week.
Oh.
It's
Yikes.
ridiculous. And I love you guys. And I'll see a few of you at GDC next week.
Yep.
Yeah, coming up quick here. Ethan,
Yes.
thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for putting me 2 hours closer to the release of the Switch.
I want to shoot myself.
Oh my gosh. You might be more hyped than I am, and that's saying something.
Than anybody is.
Yeah.
Now, there's a guy
And
already.
super special hyper turbo thanks to Mr. Kevin Larrabee for joining us this week.
Oh, thank you so much. You forgot the dash, though. It's Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Dash Hyper Fighting.
Right.
Yeah, but always great to hang out and chat with you guys. Again, I am very excited about the Nintendo Switch. Don't get me wrong. I'll be playing some Zelda next week. And after I do that, I will be making my trek to Tokyo, Japan for about a week. And while I'm there, I'm going to be doing some video blogging and doing some, walking around Akihabara, shooting some video for the folks that want a video guide on where to go and what to see when you make your trip to Tokyo, Greg. So we'll have all that. And if you do have stuff that you have questions about for what I do go over there, because I got multiple GoPros and a DSLR for the trip. So I'll be filming a bunch and hopefully, again, like I said, meeting up with A4 guys to talk about some Zelda 2 or record something just so we're not hanging out and eating pizza. But that might happen too. So you can check that out at youtube.com/FitCastNetwork or fitcast.network, where you can find everything that I do, including back of my play that involves a bunch of these guys. So go check them out.
That's right. I look forward to hearing your comments on Zelda Breath of the Wild. Really interested to see what you think.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that Switch holds up in economy class on Japan Air. Actually, it's a premium economy, especially if it is able to continue to be powered on by the USB jack that's in the back of the headrest.
Oh, you got to
That's gonna
report
be
what
the
it's
true
like
test.
in kickstand mode, if it works as beautifully as
It
it does
won't.
in the ads.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing is, you can't charge it in kickstand mode, which God, it's such an Apple putting the charger under the mouse type of thing in terms of design. They shouldn't have done that, but
You'll just have to hold it for a little while. You have to cradle it like a baby, like in 1-2 Switch.
dude, I'm gonna be the coolest person on that flight. All these people will be like, "Oh no, Nintendo Switch!" And then I'll be like, "Yeah, just play some 1-2 Switch," and then we'll be in the aisles playing 1-2 Switch in first
Exactly.
class.
You can share the joy all the way to
I will.
Japan.
Yeah, pilots are to put that thing on autopilot, guys. We know where we're going. We're gonna land in Narita. Let's play some 1-2 Switch, and let's even get the air marshals involved. Let's go. Let's have a blast.
And by the way, that Japanese accent was so authentic, it wasn't offensive at all. Nice work.
Nihongo ga skoshi wakarimasu. I speak a little bit.
That's yep. Mm-hmm. All right. We will see everybody next week.
Later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.